Welcome to the No Flop Zone. You're taking time out with me, Boti, and the coach, Joey Wright. This episode is being brought to you by Built Solutions. Joey, you've had a bit to do with them lately?
So I try to get out to a lot of associations and do trainings or whatever. And so I was at Woodville last Sunday, and just to walk in and see this guy, Steve, on the court. He's training, coaching.
This is Steve Walker from Built Solutions.
This is Steve Walker.
Yeah,
out there.
Hands-on
in it. Barbecue. He's a guy on the barbecue as well. I'm sure he's sweeping floors and kissing babies too. I just like someone who decides to say that they're all in, and they're all in, and that's what Built Solutions is as well. And
we're all in this week because we had some great games to talk about, some sensational 3 1-point wins.
Fabulous games.
In a row, 4 1-point wins out of 8 games, which was terrific. Yeah.
But I wanted, for one of our viewers, argue the point that the NBA is a better showing product than the NBL. I want to argue that. If you guys can send me in information and argue that point, because I don't think it is. The NBL, and sure, we know the storylines and we're close to the people, so it is more inspirational for us. But if you just look like the purity of the basketball, tell me the NBA is a better product and why.
Talking about NBA, that's the big basketball story of the week, is the gambling scandal that's going on. It's only a few days old. 34 individuals that have been charged with various offences relating to poker, betting on games. You've got Chauncey Billups, who's an NBA Hall of Famer and a championship winner at Detroit Pistons.
That one may work itself out, and I do have some inside information on that from some people that are close to the situation. Chauncey was paid to come play at these games. Now, whether he knows what's going on, we don't know, and I'm sure that'll come and find out later, because apparently FBI has been sitting on this for a couple years. So it's been around for a while.
Then we got current Miami Heat player Terry Rozier, not to be mixed up with Terry Rozier, the great defensive player for Newcastle, and former player Damon Jones. There's charged with participating in rigged sports betting and illegal poker games. So Billups is supposed to have lured NBA players into these poker games. Members of the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese organised crime families. That they get them in, they cheat them, and then now you owe them.
Yeah, this is how it happens. I've seen it before. How it happens, where a player will get in and he becomes, addicted to gambling, and then they'll say to him, "Hey, just miss the first shot of the game. That's all we need you to do. Just miss the first shot. You don't have to do anything else." And the guy will go, "Well, that's pretty simple. I can just miss the first shot of the game or the first shot I take or whatever." That means nothing in the whole picture. So they don't care that you miss the first shot. What they care is that you will do what they ask you to do, and now they have it on record. So they'll record that conversation, and you'll come back and they'll go, "Hey, now we want you to fix this game. We don't want you to miss the first shot." And go, "I'm not fixing the game. Crazy. Just tell me to miss the first shot." "Well, that's fixing." "No, it ain't. I just missed the first shot. Here it is in recording, and we'll send this to the FBI if you don't continue to do what we ask you to do." That's how these guys get set up.
Right.
And we get a lot of training in professional sports over there. When I was drafted in the NBA, they take you through all that training. They give you all the scenarios, and they set you up for it. So these guys' first problem is just gambling, period.
It blows my mind to think that these guys are paid so much money now, so much money, are that greedy that they'd want to go to a poker game, say, or pick up some little bit of cash by fixing something. Why? You're getting paid.
Gambling's not about money. Gambling's not about money. Yeah. I'm not a gambler, so it's not something that appeals to me, but I have some friends that don't mind a punt, especially here in Australia. Like in America, most of the sportsmen I know never really was involved in it. Here, most people are involved with gambling in some respect. But it's definitely not about the money, because I've been next to some guys that had big money, and I'm going, "Hey, we stopping, we going, let's go eat now." And they're like, "Nah, this $20,000 in my hand means nothing." And I'm thinking,
I bet it means something to me.
It means a lot to me if I had it.
We had that situation with, is it Tim Donaghy or something like that, the referee that was fixing games, and you're vulnerable. And I think any league, if this can happen in the NBA, it can happen in any league in the world.
I would say it's happening to some extent in every league here in Australia, whether it's basketball, football, whatever. Right. I think it would be some proponent of it happening here, and it has been obviously some stuff, some one of the things that the NBL is arguing about now is betting proceeds. The difference in Illawarra and what Illawarra's owner and Larry's going through. It's about what betting proceeds are going to, where that money's going to, and what's happening with that money. So it is a subject.
It's a dangerous subject because vulnerabilities. They're only human. People are only human.
Yeah.
Players are only human. Referees are only human.
Yeah.
And you put something out there that's a temptation, you might jump at it. I mean, we've got a situation here where we had the Perth Illawarra game. Okay, and after the game, John really came out and strongly said that the players are the superstars. They're who people come to watch. They don't come to watch anybody else. And I think there's a bit of a feeling with some in the officiating ranks that we're keen to see what they're going to call or who they're going to give a tech foul to. I mean, the tech fouls are flying just like it's crazy. Whatever happened to a little bit of communication with a player or a coach?
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like most of if they can't understand where the coaches and players are coming from, like this is their livelihood, they're emotional about it or whatever, they're doing a job that they shouldn't be emotional about. They're going to get a job the next week no matter what.
Yeah.
And, every player, every coach, you're playing for your last game. You that's the way you feel. And you know that. I got to win this game or I die. That's how intense it feels.
Livelihoods depend on it.
Livelihoods depend on it. So for Gores to jump, I mean, we should be applauding that the man's 70-something and jumped.
Now here's the thing that blew my mind. The referee that was responsible for that whole thing, James Griggle, with Gorge giving him the tech for jumping and then giving him another tech and throwing him out of the game. The very next game the Sydney Kings played, Southeast Melbourne, same referee on the game. That referee should have been suspended for 2 weeks, really. Set aside and said, listen, you screwed up.
Well,
and he's on the next game. Like, that's challenging Gorge. And Gorge looks at him and goes, oh, we've got that guy.
Yeah.
That's a diabolical situation for Scott Butler, who's in charge of the referees, to make that sort of decision.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have been there. I mean,
provocative.
I've had a scenario in my career where referee was banned from refereeing, and then the very next game, after about 4 or 5 years that he refed, he threw me out. And he had nothing to do with the conversation. So sometimes I think it's personal. Yeah. And we got to get those guys out of the game.
Well, there were some extraordinary games. Games. Yeah, let's go through because people were saying before we get to that, people were saying, "Oh, we're having all these blowouts. What's the problem? We're having blowouts."
We were saying it wasn't all these people.
I don't agree with that. I know why there are blowouts.
It has been some blowouts. I got my opinion on why it's been some blowouts.
Give me yours.
My opinion on the blowouts is I didn't see corrective calls, and I coached in this league when I've been up 20. And I've seen corrective calls. And I've seen when I've been down 20 and I'm seeing corrective calls, meaning balance it out and get it back so it's a ball game.
Right.
I used to see that all the time.
Okay.
Right? Whether it was on purpose or not, I don't know. I'm not saying that it was or wasn't, but I've seen that and I didn't see that much. But the other side of that is I'm not as close either. So if it's a call that's missed, I'm not as close, or I might have grabbed a beer at the time.
Okay. Now something has changed in how they produce the league ladder, right? It used to be you and I, we go head to head. We play 3 times. Your team beats me twice. I won once. You go forward on head to head, right?
Right.
All right, about 3 or 4 years ago, I'm not exactly sure when, maybe more, it was decided it's going to be overall percentage. Yeah. Okay, now when you're 30 up on me, let's take it, you're 30 up on me, but you're going to win this series on head to head. Then you can clear your bench. You can give those kids that are working their asses off at practice, you can give them 3-4 minutes, and maybe the margin shrinks down to 15. But you still won the games. You still won head to head. Now it's overall percentage. Tasmania missed the top 6 last season on percentage to Adelaide because they didn't hammer enough teams, whereas Adelaide did. So now if you're 25 up, you want to put your foot on the throat and win by 40. Yeah. So you're going to get more blowouts because you don't have that equality of it's just you versus me, head to head. You don't have that anymore. It's overall percentage.
And you have to play to that if you're a coach. You really do. You can't.
More blowouts.
I've lost on 1 percentage point, finished 5th instead of finishing 4th. And at that particular time, they only took the top 4. So it definitely, and we had the number of wins on that team, but they had the overall percentage of wins. Which
I don't agree with that. I think that's what lends itself to blowouts because you need to build your percentage.
Yeah.
And therefore those guys don't get that court time. I mean, Melbourne United was able to do that against Cairns because they were so far ahead. They were able to clear and get their guys in. But, I mean, Cairns is just diabolical at the moment. The incident after the Perth game with Admiral Schofield carrying on like an ensign.
Yeah, that was not needed. When you take one like that, man, get that game over, get out of there. You don't want no fights. I mean, that's like getting dunked on and arguing about the foul. Like you get dunked on a foul, it's the free throw. Let's get on down to the other end of the court. Yeah, which was some great facials in the games this weekend. Oh, yeah. We got to talk about as well.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I think with Cairns, they're just in that. This is in an awful place right now. I mean, when Melbourne,
Melbourne, not enough talent.
But United comes to town, you go, they've just been flogged by Perth. What do you expect is going to happen against United? So it's amazing that those fans, that Orange Army, are so loyal that they will go out to watch what is going to be something that is ugly.
Yeah, it's not much else to do up there.
Come on, you can go marlin fishing. Have you heard of
not at 7:30 at night on a Saturday.
All right, we've got some quick changes coming. Bullets have signed Dakota Mathias, who's a guard. Perth have signed David Duke, a combo guard, and Illawarra have signed QJ Peterson, a point guard. So this should make a difference.
Yeah, I think we definitely haven't seen. We talked about at the beginning of the year that injury is going to play a big part in what's happening this year, and it will. These teams will see what they look like when they revamp, and then Adelaide still has an option to add someone, which I think they probably do need. And if they can add that in, then they're going to be pushing Melbourne tough.
Agreed, because a lot of people are saying that, well, that was a pretty good performance from Adelaide to only lose by a point. I'm not quite there because they had all week to prepare for that game. That was their only game. They had all week to prepare for that. Melbourne had to go up to Cairns. And as you said on the show a few weeks ago, when you've got a 2-game weekend, you don't worry about the second game. No. You have to win the first one. Okay, so that's when they can get to turn their attention on their flight back down to Melbourne to play Adelaide. They don't have Shea-Lee, and they still get the win.
They still get the win, but I think for Adelaide to go into Melbourne for the first time and play a quote-unquote biggest game of the year and still compete at that level and right there, and probably should have won it. I think, that's a pretty good performance. Okay. You throw in an extra import into that. Let's say you balance out a little bit because Milton was pretty chilled for most of the game. I think Milton was still up in Cairns. But I think it just makes for a great finals and a great rivalry.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
So we got that great result for Brisbane where, once again, Casey Prather has played terrific, but it's been Lamar Patterson who's taken him from 80-83 to 82-83 and then 84-83. Yeah. And then they've gone down and Terrell Harrison has swatted away off the ring Parker Jackson Cartwright shot. The one he swatted away off the ring went straight to Isaiah Liafa, unfortunately, who had an easy shot off the backboard. Like you couldn't hope for an easier shot to win the game. Misses. And then Terrell Harrison knocks it away again. 2 big plays from him, but they certainly blew that. New Zealand blew it.
They blew that. They had that game won, and once again, anytime you coaching and you see 3 or 4 hero shots in a row when you're up 20, you're up 15, and you see 2 or 3 hero shots, get a timeout and address it, which he did. Got a timeout and address it, came out of timeout, and I seen another hero shot. I was like,
they're gone.
They're gone. Their rhythm's done. And Lamar Patterson, I just don't understand. Like, people who played should know better. Do not put rookies on veterans. Don't do it. All right? Don't do it. As great as Dyson Daniels is, don't put him on Cotton. Dash. Don't do it. Dash.
You could put Dyson on Cotton.
You can put Dyson on. And you'll be able to put Dash on him by the end of the year.
Sure, but not just now.
Not now.
But not even on superstars like Jackson Ball played a terrific game for Illawarra. 32 minutes he played in that win over Perth. But in that last play, when John really ran an extraordinarily brilliant misdirect play that left Elijah Pepper open in the corner for a 3 that tied it. He was all at sea on that. That's the moment I would have subbed him out.
That last play, brilliant. Like every last play or great play should have these elements in it: a mismatch, a misdirection, and then an isolation at the end. And he had all those components in that play, and it was ready. And just to see the young fella, and I love that guy.
So
we talked about him
the
week before. He's going to be tough.
Yeah,
tough.
17. He's
17. My God!
And he started him. Like he
30 minutes.
Backed him.
I've never played a 70-year-old 30 minutes.
How old was Terence Ferguson?
18, just turned 18.
Yeah, you never played him more than 18 minutes.
I don't think he played 30 minutes.
When you're 19, I'll give you an extra minute. So that was phenomenal. The foul call against Christian Doolittle. If that lob pass to JaVale McGee to catch and put away and either win the game or get fouled and win it from the free throw line, that was a terrific play, but it was an obvious one. If they run that play in the 15th minute of the game, did they call a foul on Christian Doolittle?
It was a foul.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but it was just.
It was a foul.
Yeah,
you can't do it. Like it's
That's
a
what
foul.
They do. They're discretionary with their calls.
It's a foul. I think I would have probably approached that a little differently defensively because it was only one play.
Yeah.
It was only one play. Throw the ball at the rim and let the big fella. I got a semi-zone with a guy sitting on the right block, on the left block, and one straight at the charge circle, and I'm just zoning off that hoop because that's the only place he can go.
Yeah.
So.
All I'm saying is they allow so much contact at various times during the game that when they call that, it's almost discretionary, and I hate that. It was a foul. I'm not disputing that. And JaVale went to the line.
At that level, you can call a foul every time down court. You can.
Oh, they'd love to. They would love to. And on top of that, here's a tick for laughing. Jeez. It's just a diabolical situation. And that last play, like JaVale McGee missing that first free throw, like talk about building the pressure. And then he makes the second. Then they run another pretty good play because Wagstaff was open in the corner. But McGee helps out on the Ben Henschel cut. Ben Henschel, who took a couple of really bad decisions, bad shots, bad foul. He still gets a hand out to Jesse Wagstaff's shot, and that reach, he gets a piece of it.
He gets a piece of it.
Fantastic. Yeah. Anyone that says that this guy's a liability defensively or something, they shows they talk a lot of crap. All right, then we got Phoenix knocking off the Kings pretty comfortably, and Nathan Sobey getting into it a little bit with Kendrick Davis. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but I saw Nathan kicking there. Yeah. But I saw Nathan going off on him. He played 2 exceptional games, back to back, poise, right shots, right plays. And the other thing about it, if his offense is working, he's so effective. He's always effective defensively. But when you get both of them, now you start putting him in way up there in the top players in the league.
I think this could be the best season I've ever seen from him.
I said the same thing to Josh the other day. I said, this is the best I've ever seen Sobey play, ever. Yeah.
Okay, so they cleaned up the Bullets, who I thought really, Lamar Patterson playing his last game, you don't start him. And he's just won the previous game for you. Yeah. Start him, let him go out on a high. And then I didn't like what they did.
Well, I'll tell you with him, if I got a guy like that, if I'm going to have that guy, I'm going all in with you. You give me everything you got. I'm not, and then go. Yeah.
All right, so then let's move on to the big game. We said it was going to be the game of the round, but we ended up with 4 one-point games, and that was Melbourne United Adelaide 36. It's such a good game.
Such a good game.
Vasiljevic, do you have him bringing down the ball?
Yeah, that's just a mishap. It's just a mishap.
Okay,
it's just a mishap. I mean, he's extremely capable. He was feeling it. He was feeling good. Like he was feeling really good.
He made a big shot.
Made a big shot before that. I want the ball in his hands, and that's just a mishap. I mean, that might not happen for another 2 years.
All right, you want to talk about some dunks, some in-your-face dunks. Jesse Edwards, Isaac Humphries, Zylan Cheatham. What a game he played.
Zylan Cheatham was unbelievable, but I think it's been unbelievable all year. I just love, and this is the thing about Zylan Cheatham that people don't realize. He's a way better scorer than what he's showing, but he's smart enough not to be. He's getting the ball to where it needs to be.
Good teams have someone who sacrifices.
Good teams have someone who sacrifices. He does. I would have changed it up. He would not been the hit guy out of the second rotation because he made all the plays. Meaning they were throwing attention at the initial pick and roll, letting it kick to Xylem. Then Xylem would attack, make a play or a bucket. I'm shutting him down. That ball's got to go out to White, or it's got to go to somebody else. It's not going to Cotton or him. Michael Harris, somebody else is going to be the receiver. I'm denying him the ball back. He was just exceptional.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game. And then it comes down. Look, the first play of the game, first Adelaide offense, they go to Bryce Cotton. He takes his shot. Tyson Walker blocks that thing clean as day. Clean as day. Of course, Bryce is going.
I don't know. Was that clean?
Yes,
sure?
Yes, they showed it. They had the angle. It was a beautiful block. He didn't bitch and moan about it. He just took it. Okay, this is what it's going to be like. But he worked his tail off, and for Bryce to have 15 in the first half and finish with 22 on a not such a great percentage was testament to the work that Walker did, and even Daniels harassing him a little bit.
Daniels definitely harassed him and gave him some trouble as well. And Daniels is the type of player that can guard him. He just
length.
Yeah, the length. Yeah, but he's just so much smarter. When he comes off that handoff, he'll come off that handoff and take a full step most of the game, and then he'll come off the handoff and take what I call a short step, and that short step reduces the time that this player got to get away from him, and he did it on Daniels. Got that foul. Love it.
Terrific game, and it was terrific that Walker could hit that three, because Milton, who'd been, as you say, he was still coming down from Cairns. He's remembered, oh, wait a minute, this is game time, winning time. He's hit the big three. Yeah. Then he's gone for the second one, hits the backboard or back of the ring, and Jesse Edwards flies, gets it out to Walker, who sees Edwards is going to tap it to him, steps back. Already he's reading the play so brilliantly and hits the three. It's goal.
I think Walker's been our best guards down here in a long time. I think I'm talking about better than Casper, Randall, whoever's been down here. I haven't seen one on both sides of the court this good and intelligent. I don't know why he's not in the NBA. I'll see what's going on there.
Size, maybe?
I don't know. The way he plays defense, his ability to think the game, his poise, and his ability to score. He can score when he wants to. Like I'm serious, probably the best guard I've seen down here all around in 10 or 15 years.
Poise. I'm going to pick up on that word because they've gone into a Scott Roth timeout in the last quarter. Bear in mind, Sydney, with 7 minutes to go, they're leading 84-68. They're 16 points ahead in the last quarter, and they're coming back. They get to 78-89. Like they're 11 down. They're still pretty much in a hole. They go into a Scott Roth timeout, and he says, "Stay poised." And they did. And they just kept executing. It was a grind. It was never like a smooth, momentum, beautiful comeback. It was a scratchy comeback.
They didn't just kill it to come back. Like I've been in scenarios on both sides where we've lost big leads, and usually the other team just does something crazy for, 3-pointers, some crazy or same thing happens. This was they just edged it back, but Sydney dropped the ball by taking some poor shots.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you see it again. They think they're home and hosed.
Yeah.
You take some hero ball shots and it starts to spread through the team. But even that finish was so unbelievably dramatic. With say Will Magnay misses a bonus free throw, then he misses 2 free throws. At a time when they really need that. And then you get the situation where they have to foul. They foul Quatnoy, the best free throw shooter on the Kings team. And he misses both.
Yeah, and he's the kind of guy that hits those things.
Oh, yeah, and comfortably. Yeah. But then on the rebound, Bannon and Magnay fly and the ball goes out on them.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't smooth. It wasn't a smooth comeback. You go, okay, no, they don't. And then out of bounds and then...
6 seconds. 6 seconds. It was just perfectly done. Like Will Magnay read that pass so brilliantly, just reaches over, catch. I mean, I thought it was a smart thing to have Xavier Cooks pass it in.
Yeah, you have to,
because he's the worst free throw shooter. He's the guy they foul if it comes to him. So he's passing it in. Magnay reads it, gives it to our man Ben Air. Very good pass, good dribble, eyes up. Nick Marshall. Xavier Cooks is tearing like a madman to get down the floor. He contested Nick Marshall's shot.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, that's how happy he was with his own turnover. But even so, it made no difference. Nick Marshall was making that shot.
Well, it's great that Xavier got back in that deal. And Xavier, if you're listening, if you look, man, just go play basketball and have fun. You ain't smiled in a couple games. Go out there and have some fun and get your joy back, and you'll kill it.
You see, I before Jack McVeigh got hurt, I didn't see him smiling either. Even when he went to the foul line, he had a thing where he goes to the foul line and smiles. He wasn't doing it there either. I think, well, the joy is missing.
Yeah, I think those guys, we threw that $1 million tag on them, and we expect them to be somewhat different. You know, it's great marketing for the league, and it's great or whatever, but it's no more expectation. You can only play basketball the way you play basketball. Forget what you're getting paid. That's somebody else's responsibility, whether they're paying you a lot or a little.
Okay, this is the segment that people are waiting for. And it's not Coach's Corner. It's the Built Solutions. Build your five. Okay, we got Built Solutions. I want to talk about Built Solutions about the fact that it's a stress-free arrangement. That's a big thing, because when you're building a place, there's so many things that can go wrong, or that you didn't account for or weren't expecting, budget blowouts, all that sort of stuff. To take all that off you, that's got to be great.
It is, and for someone who, like myself, I'm not familiar with the laws here, you know, in Australia as much as someone that's probably born here. I'm definitely not used to how you operate your councils, because we don't deal with the councils a lot during building. We have a separate department for that in America. So someone who understands that experience and knows how to walk people through that, I can't imagine the average layman understanding those processes. So you get someone that's done it before, and it just saves you the headache. And trust me, it's a lifesaver when you're going through a project like I'm going through right now.
When we're building our five, okay, when you say to me you can go first, that means you actually have a five. You're not going to copy. So let the viewers.
I never copy.
Who have you got?
I have
Bryce Cotton.
Bryce Cotton, always. He might be just a standing pick in that deal. I got Sobey.
Nathan Sobey,
amazing great. 2 games. Yep. Played out of his skin. Nick Marshall, you know, tough. And it wasn't just the last shot either. I like how Nick battled the whole time and got after it defensively and just played a really good, solid ball game.
When he went down the lane and tried to slam it over people, that was a great moment. Even though it didn't work, it was a great moment.
Well, I was with someone who was like, jumped out of the chair, and he goes, "What?" I goes, "Oh yeah, he has every bit of that." The people that don't know, Nick Marshall is bouncy. All right, so Nick Marshall, and then I have Cheatham, Edwards, Sobey, Marshall,
Bryce,
and Bryce.
Okay,
those are my 5.
My 5 is
Built Solutions 5.
Okay, my Built Solutions 5. 4 of them, I just decided the guys that shot the match winners. Okay. So we've got Nick Marshall is 1, Lamar Patterson is 1, JaVale McGee is 1, and Tyson Walker. That's 4 of my 5 guys that hit the shots. They didn't necessarily, other things happened, but they're the ones that hit it. And then Nathan Sobey, I thought, was the most outstanding player over the round. Yeah, 33 and 29. That's just what he scored. He actually motivated his team to play.
It wasn't just the points, which a lot of guys can go get points. I thought it was all his ability to run that team, and just defensively too. Like, I don't know if he ever gets enough credit for his defense.
All right, we've got some viewers' topics to discuss. We're trying to get through as many as we can. We've got Michael, who says, Joey, what does Jaylen Adams need to do to change your mind? If you were coaching him, how would you help him?
How would I help him is the question. I wouldn't have had him initially to start with, but I have had players that have been forced upon me as a coach.
That's right, Randall.
I learned this technique from Brendan Malone, who's told me, said, Joey, when you get someone that's not operating your structure, he didn't use those words, he used different words, but someone's not operating your structure, these are some things you can do. 1, find out something they want and try to hold that out over them and promise that to them to get there, all right? 2, every person that doesn't follow your system, all right, probably has someone in their circle that would follow your system. Try to align yourself with that person, which may be an agent, an old coach, or a best friend, a wife, and say, hey, we need him to act like this. You have more control over him. Can you get him to act like this, because this is the big picture, and sell them on that. Those are the techniques I would try to use. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't compromise my values of my team at all whatsoever to get someone who doesn't want to live up to my values to play. So it will either be those 2 techniques, him coming to Jesus, or him sitting the bench.
All right, Michael, you got your answer? Geronibus Maximus says, I've got one for Boti. Oh, great. Of course, it's for me.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you wrote a book about Joey, what would it say? Well, I would probably focus on those areas of Joey that you don't know about. So I'd want to know about his childhood. I remember you've said that you're a plump kid and that you're in the shadow of your sibling. Like many of us have experienced that. I'd want to talk about or find out about the 7 years you were doing real estate, things that we don't know. And then obviously racism would have to come into this particular story in Australia and the USA, what you've experienced. Yeah. And then the absolute positives of your experience, because you're a very positive coach and a very positive human being. So I'd be trying to stress those points. You don't have to say a thing. Okay. All right. Jeff Rowe Phillips says, question to you both about role players, glue guys who sacrifice their own scoring for the team to win. Who are the guys you think are have the most influence on the team's performance without being a scorer? And he's referring to people like, say, a Damien Martin, a Jesse Wagstaff, Paul Rees, Peter Aley, and now Silent Cheatham. Who have you coached any?
Oh, I've coached huge.
Yep.
Dylan Boucher, Mark Brackey.
Yep.
And I know you guys know Mark Brackey as a star and a ball
but
player.
This is on the tail end.
This was Mark Brackey coming to me after he said he was going to retire, and I think Mark may have averaged 6 points and 3 or 4 rebounds that year, but he was the reason why we won the championship, hands down.
Right.
Like, we don't have Mark Brackey on the team, we don't win the championship. And that's all he averaged. And on that same team, I had Dylan Boucher, who, I don't typically forget to put players in, but one game I didn't play him, and Dylan goes, did we win? I go, yeah. He goes, what else are we talking about then? Those kind of unselfish players that make things work. You look at, Silent Cheatham for the Sixers. He's a much better scorer than what he's showing, but he's decided to put that up so the other guys can look good. So it's every team would have one that's successful. The teams that don't, that have all this talent and these big names, but then you go, who's the guy that's giving up something?
Who's sacrificing?
Who's sacrificing? They're not. I.e. Sydney. Who's sacrificing in Sydney?
Nobody. For me, the one that stands out is Darnell Mee. When he played for the 36ers, he came in, and my first interview I did with him, I asked him what does he think he's bringing. Mm-hmm. He said, I just want to win. I'll do whatever it takes to win.
Everybody says that.
No, but he did it.
But he did it.
If you needed him to play, if you needed him to play D, you needed him to share the ball. You needed somebody to have their confidence shattered, so he went and blocked a few of their shots. Or you needed him to score. Whatever it was, he would be quite happy to defer to somebody else if they're doing something better. But he wanted to win, and he would do what it took to win. He could have been a major scorer in this league. And never was.
I recruited Darnell. I coached in the league for 18 years. From the moment I saw Darnell, every single year he was out of contract, and some he wasn't.
Yeah.
Hey man, you want to play for me? I tried every single year, in a plethora of different ways.
Okay, so he was also a sensible guy.
Very.
We're back, and we're talking about the game of the week, and quite a few didn't come up to par, but we've selected Southeast Melbourne and I don't even know who they're playing.
We've selected Perth.
Right. All right. We've selected Southeast Melbourne and Perth as our game of the round. That's second versus fifth?
Fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Perth is desperate for a win, I think, in this scenario. They got to have a win coming up, and this, Southeast being number 2 on the ladder would be a good win to get. So I think a lot of fireworks. Southeast is playing really well since their slump against Adelaide, but let's see them. Let's see what happens.
I would be interested to see what difference the new import David Dukes makes at Perth.
Well, typically, new imports just throw everybody off the first game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm interested to see what happens.
So I always, if it's 2 teams and one of them just got a new player in or an old player back, I typically go with the other team just because I know it just throws your whole team off for a while.
Quick word on the new one at new import at Southeast Melbourne. Where's Ewundu? Your first thoughts?
My first thoughts, I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, what amazing wingspan. Oh my God. And then I didn't see him use his wingspan at all in the game. I was like, I kept waiting for these arms to be effective, and that just didn't know when to raise them, didn't know when to put them up, had them in the wrong place. So I wonder why, such a guy with that specimen, like he spread out one time, put his arms out, and I was like, how is anybody gonna shoot over the top of him? Well, he probably had some stuff he needs to work on upstairs, because he didn't use those arms for anything. But so jury's still out. I like the fact that he squared up and took the shot when he needed to. But I wanted to see him affect the game more off the ball, like the rest of the Phoenix guys did.
Yep. Okay, that's it. We're off. We've got other things to do. See you next time.